This is weird. This is weird for me. I'm not prepared for it. Okay, I'm not prepared for it. But the Ravens got to win without Lamar Jackson, which it could happen. I'm gonna be cheering for it. And then the Chargers got to win. So I gotta cheer for the Chargers to win a game to help the Ravens playoff position, which history knows that rarely ever really happens. And then on top of that, I gotta hope that tails never fails. And somehow, if all this happens, the Ravens will end up with a home playoff game. I, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I trust it. But you know what? I'm going to keep the faith. And the Ravens will be hosting a game at M&T Bank Stadium, even though they didn't win the division, which is weird because they have mathematically, they can't win the division, but it don't matter. It don't matter. It's about that time when everything resets, crazy things happen. Doesn't matter who's who. Doesn't matter what seed you are. If you in the dance, you hit the dance, and you see what happens. It's surviving advanced time. So let's see how this one goes. Ravens Bengals, exciting game. Always a lot of fun. But we know the Bengals are the resident Ravens heartbreakers. All right, welcome into Flock Nation Speaks. It's your only Ravens podcast for the best of Ravens fans, and it is a Ravens podcast, Ravens podcast, Ravens podcast. What is going on, good people? Back at it again, DJ here for Flock Nation Speaks. Man, I tell you, Week 18. Week 18, it feels like it was just yesterday that I was out here talking bad about Joe Burrow, who has pretty much won the AFC North. I was talking bad about Justin Herbert not getting in the playoffs when they got in the playoffs a couple weeks ago. It's crazy how things just change. I was sitting here talking about how Joe Burrow was not going to do the same things that he did last year, and technically he didn't do the same things against the Ravens because the rest of the games I didn't really care about. But against the Ravens, he didn't do the same things that he did last year, which, I mean, last year was like record-breaking, history-making numbers that he put up against the Ravens. We will never forget. But it was exciting, and now we're back again, right? We're back again, a little bit more healthy. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a season-defining game still. Even though the Ravens are in the playoffs, even though the Bengals are in the playoffs, there's a little bit of seasoning. There's a little bit of seeding going on with these two games, with this particular game, because of course the Kansas City Chiefs locked up the number 1 seed last night, so that pulls the Bills out of that race. That pulls the Bengals out of that race, and I think that pulls both of them out of the race for home field advantage. But it's interesting to see, like, coming into week 18, how things have changed. Number one, of course, no Lamar Jackson this week. Does he come back before wild card weekend? I've heard, I think Adam Schefter posted it today. It's possible that he does, or last night, that it's possible that he does, right? But we've heard so many different things, so many different stories from so many different people. I think, oddly enough, I think I trust Adam Schefter a little bit more than I trust John Harbaugh right now. Ironically, the actual Ravens coach, and versus a guy who reports on news around the league. But it's crazy. It's crazy to think how things have changed with the Lamar Jackson injury and him being out for the past 5 weeks, and then the pressure that's on the entire team and him included. If he is able to come back next week in the wild card race, because you don't play for 5 straight weeks and then you play playoff football. That's a fast step to take. But they're saying there's still a little bit of swelling in his knee. So what does that mean for his recovery? Is he not recovering as fast? Does he need an extra week? Who knows? But interestingly enough, Ravens at Bengals this week, week 18, a chance for a home playoff game for the Ravens. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I guess it will be a chance to to change seating for the Bengals. I think is pretty much all that's that's the hope for them. But it's very very interesting to see what this means, because I mean at one point, especially just last week, the Ravens had a chance to control their own destiny. They win 2 games. You know, they win the division. And that was just how it was, regardless of how the Bills and Bengals game later on that week was going to happen. Now, of course, we know about everything with the stoppage and DeMar Hamlin and everything that happened there. Still wishing him well and for his quick recovery. But how that change, I don't know if it necessarily changes as much if the Ravens take care of business last week, and that's exactly what we're talking about. The Ravens taking care of business, which they've proven that they cannot do over and over and over again. And I think that's the biggest problem coming in. Against the Bengals, a talented. This is a good test, I think, for the Ravens defense, because the Bengals coming in against a talented Ravens defense, and on the other side, the Bengals are one of the more talented offenses you're going to see. They got receivers all over the place. They got Joe Mixon, who probably is at least a top 5, top 10 running back. I mean, it's one of those things where you just, the only issues they have is offensive line. But when you got guys that can get open, offensive line matters. But at the same time, it's like, you can still get it out quick to these guys, because Jamar Chase is going to get open. T. Higgins is going to get open, right? Tyler Boyd is going to get open. Hayden Hurst is going to get open. So that's the biggest things. Like this defense. This is what the Ravens have built their team on. They built their team on defense and running the football. The running game has been back over the past couple of weeks. The defense has been good enough to win. The defense is good enough to probably win a Super Bowl. And then, now it comes to, the offense and what they can do. Now, like I just said, the running game has been exactly as advertised. J.K. Dobbins has played well. He's not playing this week, but he's played well. I think he needs a rest week anyway, but he's played well. Gus has played well. That 1-2 attack is a really good attack to have in the league, probably top 5 in the league, I'm sure, maybe even top 3 in the league. And just because of their combination of their, kind of power and finesse, it's one of those things where I think the run game is fine, right? The defense is fine, right? We know the passing game issues and the talent on the outside. We know those issues. I was coming into this game, I'm sitting here thinking defensively, I'm not necessarily worried, even with the talent they got, right? Because the Ravens are one of the weirdest defenses I've seen over the past probably 5, 6, 8 years. They're a team that's usually really good and really disciplined on defense until you need them to be disciplined the most, right? That's when they become a team that becomes unraveled. That's a team, that's when they become a team that becomes kind of like they just fold. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about this defense. It doesn't matter who the coach has been. It's time and time again. But I think that comes back to coaching too, and how these players are schemed up and put in positions to do exactly what they need to do. But I think defensively, I think this is your opportunity to turn a really good quarterback over. Don't like last week with Kenny Pickett, you couldn't turn the rookie QB Kenny Pickett. You couldn't turn him over, and I think that was bigger than the offense not being able to score, because the offense gave you a 10-point lead, right? It may not have been a lot of points, but it was a 10-point lead, right? It was a 10-point lead going into the second half. All you got to do is hold firm, get you a turnover or two against a rookie quarterback in a system where people are not trusting Canada anyway as offensive coordinator. So it's not to say that that's an easy task or not, but this defense should be able to do that. Now, this week things change, because Joe Burrow, a guy who's been to the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow, a guy who's been in the MVP conversation, a guy who has shown that he's coming in to be a force in this league with the talent around him. This is your opportunity to show, all that depth that you've built as a Ravens organization and all of that. Like, this is the time to show that, like, hey, we can defend every one of these guys. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Ravens defense versus the Bengals offense is the better matchup of the two, right? Because the Bengals defense is pretty decent too. So, to see them against the Ravens offense, not really knowing. I still don't even know if Tyler Huntley's starting today or if Anthony Brown is starting today. So who knows, right? Who knows what's going to happen in this game? Who knows how this one's going to go? Because this defense can turn things around. I mean, we saw it last night with the Jaguars and the Titans, right? The Jaguars, it looked like they were turning the momentum, but it looked like at times they were dead to rights. It was done. They were going to miss the playoffs because they needed one game to win. And then crucial turnovers come at the right times when you're in the right place at the right time. And there you go, right? You turn the complete game around, and that turnover, that strip fumble return for a touchdown was the biggest play of the game and was the reason they won that game last night. And I mean, really, it was their defense on top of that too. So for the Ravens, I think the better matchup is the Ravens defense versus the Bengals offense. Bengals got all the talent in the world. Ravens got all the talent in the world. Put them together. Let's see what happens. But at the same time, I think this Ravens defense is going to have to score touchdowns, at least with either Anthony Brown or Tyler Huntley in the game. Just because, I mean, the offense is hobbled right now. The offense is, hands tied behind their back right now. Like, they're at a disadvantage because of the receivers, because, of the guys playing quarterback right now. It's just one of those things where those guys just they aren't made to be in those positions at this point in time in their career. So it's tough, but we'll see how it goes on that end. Now, when it comes to the Ravens offense versus the Ravens defense, the Ravens offense versus the Bengals defense, it really just comes down to, I think it comes down to coaching again, right? I think obviously both sides of the ball come down to coaching, but more so offensively than anything. Greg Roman, this is your opportunity to lean into what you are. If Greg Roman dies by the sword that he wields out, I don't think Ravens fans will be as upset at Greg Roman. But Greg Roman has this weird thing where he tries to get cute, and he's trying to go out on the wrong analogy, right? He trying to get cute though, like he trying to be too much. He trying to do too much in an offense that's not built to do too much. So lean on running the football, lean on time of possession, and don't be afraid for rushing touchdowns to be the reason why you win this game. Just like if the defense comes out here and plays just absolutely dominant, like this, and that's what I was saying. This is not necessarily a season-defining game, but it's one of those things where it can define how you go into the postseason, the momentum you take in, because you might be playing the Bengals again next week, right? Probably a healthier Bengals team, who knows? Hopefully a healthier Ravens team. Y'all probably might be playing each other next week once again. So what do you have to do? This is your time, Greg Roman, to showcase, all right, I'm going to lean into what I am, and we're going to win this game, right? I'm going to lean into this run game. We're going to be efficient passing the football, and it may not be passing it down the field, but continue to build off of that run game that has been dominant over the past, 3 or 4 weeks. I know you don't have JK this week, so it might not be as good, but continue to lean into what you are. Everybody calls Greg Roman this run game specialist, this run game guru. I've done it myself. And if he's going to be that, he's got to lean into the fact that he is a run game specialist, a run game guru of sorts, right? He's got to lean into that. Lean into the fact that you want to run your offense through these tight ends, right? Lean into, if he, at the end of the day, if this is the roster you wanted, lean into the pieces that are right there in front of you to use so that this offense can be what this offense needs to be. And, no Deshaun Jackson, of course, he got cut this week, and Nick Boyle got cut this week, but, maybe that means Charlie Kolar gets a little bit more time to play this week. I don't necessarily trust it, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. Maybe he's going to be an absolute dog, and everybody's going to be like, what? This dude's a big, like, I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it, but we'll see what this offense has to offer, because this week is definitely going to be another one of those time of possession, run the ball, be efficient passing the ball. Now, albeit who you passing it to, now that comes back to scheme again, right? Greg Roman's got to be better about scheming guys open. Now, has he proven to us over and over and over again that he can't do that? Probably, right? But you live by what your strength is, and you die by what your strength is. Don't try to get cute. Don't try to get crazy. Don't try to get wild against this defense. Showcase that, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to protect the ball. And the defense is going to have to make some plays. They just did. they just did. What's up, Hendo? Shout out to Ravens online and gatekeepers. Make sure you check him out too. I mean, Hendo be having some of the opinions that you be like, you know what, maybe you're right about that. Like you know what, maybe because I think Hendo was the one that really got me filtered into this hardball frustration that I'm in this year, right? Like this. I was frustrated with Greg, but I wasn't as frustrated with Harbaugh because I was like, the injuries and I think Hendo like opened my eyes a little bit, and I was like, I mean, Harbaugh is straight up lying to us about Lamar's injury, right? What is his benefit right now? What is he doing for us? He ain't holding anybody accountable. He trying to save his, but he said my apologies. Look, I ain't even mad at you. Sometimes you gotta open the eyes, right? It wasn't even like the purple glasses. Like I wasn't like purple patrolling or nothing like that. It was just like I wasn't truly seeing it because last year was just a crazy year, so I wasn't seeing it. But this year, I'm like, I mean, what's the excuse? Like, I know Lamar hasn't played in 5 games, but even before that, there was still bad coaching. So, like, what's the excuse? But anyway, he's an assistant. I wish they would like delegate him to assistant offensive coordinator duties because, like, somebody got to be calling the plays at this point. Like Gregory Romaine cannot be like this cannot be happening, right? Greg Roman cannot keep calling plays. But kind of like I was saying before, like, I mean, my thing is, at least if Greg Roman would lean on what he is, I feel like he'd be a better coordinator. But Greg Roman is so busy trying to run ridiculous passing schemes that he can't scheme up, and trying to literally run away from running the football in the red zone, where it's probably his most crucial and powerful thing to use. But no, won't do it. I don't get it. Like, the Ravens kill time of possession, they run the ball well, and then get into the red zone and do weird things like don't want to run the ball. It's hilarious to me. Or when they run the ball, it's the most predictable run behind Ricard, right? It's the most predictable run behind Patrick Ricard, and everybody knows where it's going because why the heck wouldn't I follow the 300-pound fullback defensive tackle? The 300-pound full defensive tackle back. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, speaking of things that the Ravens do that is just beyond me. Why do the Ravens continuously feel like they can work magic and put people in positions like fullback is maybe a little bit different, but like they got safeties playing corner and then mad that they can't cover. All right. But anyway, I mean, I feel like this is one of those games. It's weird to say because if Lamar was back, I think you get a better indication of what to expect. But with Lamar not being back, I think once again it comes down on coaching. Like always, right? I mean, it always comes down to coaching because I think I said this time and time again. I'm more worried about the fact that our Super Bowl winning coach and the Super Bowl runner-up from that same Super Bowl can't figure out how to win games when they need to, can't figure out how to coach games when they need to. I honestly I think I trust Demarcus Robinson more to get open than I do Greg Roman to scheme him that way. Like, that's my issue. It's not like I don't love the personnel, but I trust the personnel more than I trust the coaching to do their job. And that's an issue within itself. And Ravens are kind of in a weird place. They always talk about like bubble teams and the Ravens have already made the playoffs. So at worst, like, if they lose next week, right, it's not the greatest pick in the world. Plus, you don't fire coaches by being on the bubble typically. So the Ravens are in like the weirdest position you possibly can be. It's just weird. This is one of those games where it's like, I want to see if the coaching improves because John Harbaugh has been feeding us, we're gonna get better, right? We're gonna, we got to work on that. Like he wasn't running the right route. Will he run the right route, or will the routes not be bunched up together? That not so good bunch offense. Will the routes not be bunched up together this week? Let's see. Like they've been feeding us that for, 3 or 4 seasons, that we're gonna improve on this and that, and then time and time again it happens. So overall, as I wrap up, just I want to see a clean game. I think that's the biggest thing. When you're playing with your backup quarterback, don't make the big mistake. Whether it's Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown, I'm leaning towards it being Tyler Huntley, but either way, like, protect the football. And then on top of that, coaches, don't put your players in terrible positions, right? Like, don't put your players in terrible positions. Like, Tyler Huntley shouldn't feel like he's just looking for somebody on a potential game-winning drive to win the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So why don't you give him a real somebody to, like, I don't know, scheme somebody open so that maybe he can get the ball to him. Like, that's my other thing. But I digress. I feel like defensively, turnovers. That's gonna be the biggest thing. And score a darn touchdown. Score a darn touchdown, defense. Like I know, like, I feel like I'm putting all the pressure on the most expensive defense in the well, I don't know if they're the most expensive, but they might as well be the most expensive defense in the league, with talent all over the place. And there's sometimes coaching issues there. I know I'm putting all the pressure on them, but they got all the resources, right? They got, they got everything. Like, we didn't went through every aisle and picked up one of everything for the defense. So in return, I want something gourmet from the defense. I want turnovers. I want touchdowns. I want 3 and outs. All right. I want punts. All of it. Right. I want flip field position. This is all on the defense. Now, offense, it could be better, but some of these issues is coaching. So does that get better in it should get better in 18 weeks, but does that get better in a week? Because we just literally saw it last week. I don't know. But anyway, as always, be sure to leave down in the comments what you think is going to happen in this game. I don't really know who the Bengals are playing. I haven't really kept up with it that much this week to know who the Bengals are playing this week and who they're not. I know the Ravens aren't playing JK. I know Lamar's out. Marcus Peters was back at practice, but I don't know how much he'll play today. So I feel like it's one of those games where if the defense can play well, as they should every week, turn the ball, turn guys over, turn into touchdowns, I think you feel a little bit better going into it, especially if Lamar plays in the wild card, because we know how Lamar is. We know that he's going to make something happen regardless, but we'll see what happens. I think should I give a prediction here? I'm not going to give a score prediction because I couldn't predict the score if I wanted 20-19. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is a winnable game for the Ravens, but the defense has to show up, and not just show up first possession, second possession, right? Like, show up in the big moments at the end of the halves, right? If there's a game-winning drive, at the end of the day, the pressure's on you. The pressure's on this defense. It's going to be on this defense, right? For me, the blame's going to be on this defense. If the Ravens lose the game, it's just how it's going to be, right? You got to, that's your investment. Protect your investment. But as always, I hope not. 45-12 Bengals hand up. I hope not. But especially with this defense, right? With the groceries, right? Like it can't be, right? Like it can't be 45-12, right? It can't be. With this defense, it got to at least be, I don't know, because if 12 is the cap that we're putting on the offense, got to be like 13-12 if the Bengals gonna win, right? Like, it has to be. But we'll see how it goes. I feel like, because the Ravens are weird about this, because I think they love for us to be on the edge of our seats the whole game. It'll probably be close, and then we'll see if the defense can get the big stop that they need at the end of the game, like usual, right? The defense will play well, and then we'll see if the defense can get, you know, we'll see. He said his starters for a bill. Oh, did he for real? Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize because I know J.K. wasn't playing, and of course I know Lamar's not playing. But I didn't know about anybody else. I know they cut Deshaun Jackson. Okay, and I know they cut Nick Boyle, which I mean, I hate to say it, about time. So it's just yeah, you're. I mean, I'm sure you're right. Like it's just a built-in excuse for them. But then again, like we talk about this all the time. The Ravens are so like gung ho and happy about this preseason winning streak that they have. Well, this is the perfect time to show that the preseason winning streak is not all for naught. Huntley isn't playing either, and two, like if Huntley isn't playing, then it makes you think, it leans you back on the Lamar situation, right? Like and that's the thing. I don't even think John knows. Like I think John is like optimistic for if that's what John can be, right? That Lamar comes back, but I don't. If Huntley doesn't play, it sounds like to me it sounds like you really don't know what's going to happen with Lamar next week. Which Lamar is the key to any sort of playoff run, any sort of playoff success. Lamar will be that key. So I mean, I hope he's back, but I've talked about it before. I don't blame him if he doesn't. Right? I mean, you should have paid him, right? You should have paid him. I mean, it's just how it is. It's just, I mean, you gotta. It's just weird. I mean, and I'll probably talk about this later on in the coming week. But the Ravens are the only team that I've seen that can't max pay their players and then build around them. Like I for darn sure know that the Chiefs, after paying the contract they paid to Mahomes, are going to figure out a way to get talent around him. I mean, shoot, they still got him Juju and Valdez-Scantling, which is better than a lot of the things that the Ravens have right now at wide receiver. So I mean, you think the Cardinals are not going to find a way to keep talent around Kyler? I just don't see it happen. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then even as fans, like I think we're kind of in the same boat, right? Like we're like, this is ridiculous, right? Like we all see it. Like how does the coaches and the higher ups don't see it? Like if we're armchair quarterbacks, right? Like if we're armchair quarterbacks and we see it, then the professionals should definitely see it, right? And I understand. Like I mean, because Lamar has been the topic of criticism for no reason, and besides the players, of course, there's been no coaches that have been like, I mean, that ain't on Lamar, right? That might be on me. Like as a coach, you have to take some of that blame, and this coaching staff just simply doesn't do that. And not to mention the talent that's around Lamar. And it's interesting because like even the national media can't hide it anymore, right? The national media for the longest time felt like they could kind of mask it a little bit, right? I don't know if Bashadi was slipping them a couple of 20s or something, but like I mean, probably a little more than some 20s, but I don't know what was going on, but like even the national media was like, well, it's on Lamar because he's got to be better as a passer. And all of us, the entire Ravens flock, was sitting here thinking, who is he passing to? Even before this year, who is he passing to? Who am I worried about? If I'm a defensive coordinator, who am I worried about? So I know for a darn fact, if the professionals who do this day in and day out, like I'm sure they see it. Like it's just, yeah. So I didn't realize that. See, I didn't realize they paid Kelsey and Chris Jones after the fact, after Mahomes. And that's the thing. Like everybody, because I think everybody thought the same thing. How, they paid Mahomes this big contract. How are they gonna, because even with getting rid of Tyreek Hill, right, trading Tyreek Hill, they found a way to get other guys. It may not have been a Tyreek Hill type of a guy, but they found ways to fill in those gaps. And that's once again too where coaching comes into to play as well. Yeah, don't care because we still show. I know. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's but I mean, and sometimes you don't know what you got until it's gone, right? And we've talked about how much money Lamar Jackson brings into the organization, whether it be from outside of Ravens flock or I mean, Lamar's a bona fide superstar. It's probably, of course, he's one of the only ones you've had. It just, it it's just. Am I saying a Ravens fan? um, you know what? I'll be a very disgruntled Ravens channel, right? Hendo asked, "Am I saying a Ravens channel if Lamar leaves this offseason?" I'll be a very disgruntled Ravens channel, right? Like I might have to change the name. Very disgruntled Ravens fan. Like that's gonna be me because I mean, not to even make the comparison, but if Lamar's the guy who doesn't win playoff games or whatever, Joe did that, right? And they didn't want to pay him. So then you come to Lamar, your first offensive MVP that you've seen in your history, literally save jobs over and over and over again. I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is. I I don't I don't know what the disconnect is, right? Like I don't. I'll never understand it. I'm still trying to comprehend it right now. Like logically it doesn't make sense. He brings in money. He literally he wins you games like on his back. You can say, I mean, the defense is talented. Yes, they are, but I mean, there's been plenty of Lamar Jackson losses that went on Lamar Jackson that the defense folded like an accordion to give the other team that win. Or like, okay, the offense started slow. Well, once again, all the money's on the defensive end, and it has been for years and years and years. Why is it that the defense can't get that one stop you need to come back in that game? I'll never understand it. But they almost paid Tyreek as well. The Ravens' excuse about yeah, it's they've never been able to they've never been able to build anything around anyone. Like if it wasn't defense related and a run game related, they'd never. I mean, Joe was the same way. Like, I mean, Anquan, but the crazy part is like, I just always imagine Anquan Bolden, right? Imagine Anquan Bolden coming in to this system in these years. Like put Anquan Bolden in the league and you trade for him and you do what the Ravens have done over the past couple years. Like they grabbed guys who could possibly be needle movers and then didn't put them on the field, right? Like I don't know what the heck Dez Bryant had left in him because you didn't put him on the field at the times you need to put him on the field. Like and that's another thing that goes with it, right? Anquan Bolden was traded for and then immediately turned into a number 1, number 2 receiver, right? Whereas you go and grab Dez Bryant and then you sit him on the bench for 3 weeks and then he comes in for 2 plays and then that's it, right? You go and grab Deshaun Jackson and then what do? You have him on the practice squad for 2 weeks and then you run him for 2 plays. He goes on the sideline, jumps around for a little bit, and then he comes back, makes a really big play, and then he's not on the field again. It's we'll get back to you. That's funny because people, and this is what frustrates me about Ravens fans and the Purple Patrol, especially like them specifically. Somebody said today, they said people were like, why release Deshaun Jackson? Like he's the only guy that can track the ball, only guy that feels like he can get open half the time. Somebody said Tylan Wallace. Somebody said, but Tylan Wallace, Tylan Wallace, he's coming back. He's coming back, baby. Tylan Wallace. I'm like, has Tylan Wallace done anything this whole season? Somebody mentioned Charlie Kolar too, and I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. Charlie Kolar has done nothing, right? This is the same organization that started this season with 5 tight ends and drafted a darn punter. And didn't they draft a fullback? Like, this team is confusing to me. Like, I as much as I love them, they confuse me. Like, they're The disconnect is they really believe that they made Lamar what he is. Yeah. And all these comments are from Hendo, by the way. Like, it's crazy to think, right? Because I mean, Lamar's been successful pretty much everywhere he's went. At least when it comes to individuality, right? Like when it comes to, his being that guy, he's been him everywhere he's went, right? So it's crazy to think that their ego can get in the way of them paying the guy who literally, like, John Harbaugh was like, I mean, he was 2 feet out the door. Like they was about to lock it on him when he walked out, right? And then Lamar comes in, saves the excuse me. Lamar comes in, saves the day, and then on top of that, the next season wins the MVP, right? Wins MVP, and let's be honest, it won't necessarily Lamar's fault they lost that playoff game. Like some of the worst, that was one of the worst coached games I've ever seen against the Titans. I mean, absolutely awful, right? Just absolutely awful. It's crazy to think that it's crazy to think they even think that, right? It's crazy to think that they even think that Greg Roman's scheme made him what he is. And it's I mean, it's unfortunate that we really haven't been able to see it get back to that, but we all know that Greg Roman's scheme works for about a good year or two, and that's about it. Like either people figure it out, or because you don't have the talent on the outside, like Lamar can make magic, but I mean, he can't make miracles at this point. Like, I mean, it's like, what do you, but you won't pay the guy you want to make magic and miracles every week. But, whatever. I'm going to get ready for this game. I hope y'all getting ready for this game. I think the Ravens are going to pull it out. They're going to win this. They're going to get that coin toss, right? They're going to call tails. They're going to get that coin toss. The Chargers, I don't even know who the heck the Chargers play this week. They're going to win, though. It don't matter, right? And the home playoff game is going to happen. So I think I had the purple Kool-Aid before I came on, but all jokes aside, I hope it happens. We'll see what happens. Love the positivity for the blowout. Defensively, okay, it should not be a blowout. All right, it should not be a blowout because this defense is elite. They is top of the tippity top. Okay, this should not be a blowout today. This should not. Like Jamar Chase should have 2 catches for 5 yards. Right. This is how good this defense is, from what they told me earlier in the season. Right. And Mike McDonald, we had McDonald's at home. Right. Like we had McDonald's at home. They said this was gonna be. I'm gonna have to go. You see, you're gonna make me go look at the inactives real quick. Let me look real quick. You gonna make me go look at the inactives so I can change my optimism. I'm trying to be okay. Oh Lord, let's see what this what. All right, let's see what this say. Let's see what this say real quick. See how they gonna do me. They don't do this. Don't do this to me. What quarterback hasn't had a career day? Yeah. I mean, shoot, Deshaun had his comeback day on us. Freaking Kenny Pickett just, I mean, Kenny Pickett just came out there and I thought he wasn't a rookie no more. I thought they brought Big Ben back 2004. Like I thought they was like, oh my. All right, inactive. Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson. That's a rough start right there already. That's Brandon Stevens. Who playing corner? Pepe? Like, is he even still on the team? Okay. Marcus Pete. So I know they got Marlon, right? Like I know Marlon out there to guard Jamar sometimes, but then Jamar ate up Marlon when he didn't have help last. Oh, okay. We gonna keep going. Okay, JK. See, there go the run game right there. I love Gus, I do, but Gus and Lamar, that's the tandem. Like, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep because there go the run game. Zyla. Is Zyla even hurt? Like, Zyla just said, I'm gonna take a rest. I'm old. Like, okay, whoa. See, y'all just resting people. Mark Andrews. Mark. Hey, y'all got rid of Nick Boy. I mean, they got 8 tight ends on the roster. I guess depth. That's what it is depth. They showing us this depth that they got. Okay, I get it. I see what they're doing. Who is Rashad Nichols? Hold on, let me get to Google real quick. Who is Rashad Nichols? Who is this? Who is this? I ain't even gonna look him up. Who is Rashad Nichols? Defensive tackle, elevated from the practice squad. Why is he even in that? Anyway, they should have kept him on the practice squad. Okay, I mean, you know what? This gonna be. Y'all remember when Ryan Mallett played the Steelers and they won the game? That's what it was. That's what it was. Right. That's what it was. Ryan Mallett played the Steelers. And that's that. Anyway, I'm shutting it down. Okay, Hendo didn't change the whole perspective, but still go check him out. Go check him out anyway. Go check him out anyway. He pretty positive sometimes. Like he put out good content. He give you some good opinions. See, he didn't change my whole perspective. But you know what? The Ravens gonna win this game. I don't care. I don't care. They go do it. They go do it. But elite defense. Yeah. But. Be sure to check out Ravens Online on Gatekeepers. And I appreciate you coming by. And you always shout me out. I always try to shout you out too. And I definitely appreciate it. I know you got your goal, your sub goal. So be sure to help him out over there. Also, real quick, you can always watch or listen to Flock Nation Speaks on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, all them places. You can watch, you can listen, you can do whatever you want to. You can share it, you can share it. You can share it, if you want to. But I gotta get some food before the game. Get ready for this not blowout, even though Hendo trying to trick me. He trying to trick me into thinking that this is gonna be a blowout. I ain't gonna believe it, Hendo. I ain't gonna believe it. I know. I know you a truth teller, Hendo. I know you are. I know you. I ain't never seen you lie about nothing. But I tell you, I mean, facts over feelings. I know, but I'm at a loss for words. We gonna win this game. You know what? I'm keeping the positivity. We gonna win this game, and for Hendo too. I hope you enjoying the game too. I hope y'all enjoy the game. But in all seriousness though, let's see how this goes. For real though, because this is the Bengals now. This is the Bengals against a depleted secondary of the Ravens, which, oh goodness, that sounds like deja vu. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time, hope you guys enjoyed. This was Flock Nation Speaks. Appreciate Hendo for coming by one more time. Appreciate anybody who came by. I appreciate y'all. Leave a comment. Let me know. You did say 10. You did say 10-7. You did, and I didn't know we'd lose to the Steelers then. Anyway, we'll see y'all. This team. I tell you, this team. They so weird. They so weird. But anyway, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.